I'm Kevin Davey with Heater Allen and Gold Dot Beer, and here is your craft beer and brewing tip of the week. The elephant in the room about cold IPA is that we don't use European malt for this. And I don't suggest anybody to use European malt for this. Because, and I think that you can, and you can make a convincing one, there's always exceptions to the rule, but the point of cold IPA is to use an American malt that has a higher protein level and a higher degree of Kolbach index or a higher degree of germination. Why did craft brewers use adjuncts to begin with? It was because of these barleys in America, 6-row barleys. They were higher protein. Because they were higher protein, they had higher fan level. It took more germination to get them to where they needed to be, so they go through our lauter tons correctly. And so to kind of fix the total starch to protein ratio, brewers were using corn or rice grown domestically, and it would kind of mimic more of a 2-row barley from Europe. Now, that's the way it has been from the 60s through the 80s. 6-row is higher protein, 2-row is more mimicking a European barley. That is not the way it is anymore. 2-row American barley is, on paper, just like 60s 6-row. Because of that, I believe you need to use a certain level of adjunct with 2-row American barley, whether it's basic 2-row or 2-row Pilsner barley. There are going to be some growers that will say, hey, I've made this American 2-row barley. It's perfect for all malt brewing. You're gonna make a great Pilsner with it. No, you won't. Not in my opinion. We import a lot of barley for our lagers here at Heater Allen and also Gold Dot. We import them from Europe because it's not the growers, it's not the maltsters, it's literally the barleys that have been brought out in America through our development and breeding are different than the ones that they have in Europe. And because they're different, they go through the malt house differently. And I believe that the Europeans have focused on all malt brewing, and they have been selecting barleys for all malt brewing because of it. If you look at American brewers, it's Miller, Coors, and Bud, and those guys control most of what gets planted in the ground through the selection process. And because of that, these 2-row barleys are grown to more mimic 6-row barleys because we know that they're going to be mixed with adjunct. So my argument for using a domestic malt is to use an adjunct with it if you're going to use it at all. And it's domestic malt, we should be using it. So we just need to, as brewers, be creative on how we use it. And I think we need to shake off the idea that you can't use adjuncts to get your total protein and fan levels to where it needs to be. One of the biggest problems with IPA is shelf life, and a lot of people have been pointing to excessive fan in their final product, and that is 100% from the barley itself. And the reason we have excessive fan is from over-germination, and I say over-germination, but it's not. These specific barleys that they're planting and growing have to be germinated to a certain point to break down all of the beta-glucan, to break down what they need to, so that when crushed and put in the lauter tun, you actually have throughput. If you don't germinate them that way, it's not gonna work. Because they're germinated to a Kolbach index of 48 to 56 sometimes %, you end up with a lot of low molecular weight proteins, the free amino nitrogens. And the free amino nitrogen, excessive free amino nitrogen in the end product equals storage problems. So by mixing in an adjunct, whether it's corn or rice, it does fix it. To learn more about brewing cold IPA, click the link below.